All right, there you go.
Anyways, welcome to our third episode of Prose and Poetic Prose. My name is Morgan Allred, also known as Mo Cristo, and this is Daniel Hastings. Daniel, say hi.
Hi.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Today we've got John Waterman, John E. Epic, which is pretty epic of a name. John, why is your name like that?
Why is my name like that?
Yeah, tell me about it.
Because when someone walks up on stage and introduces John E. Epic,
Right.
you're not expecting me.
Truth. Right. Fair enough.
You might have heard the Big Papa E down in Wichita?
Yes.
Same way.
Big
He
Papa.
wants a hip-hop name, but when you get up there, you're like, that guy's not doing hip-hop.
Right. He always makes the fat or black people uncomfortable. Not saying that there's a whole lot of fat black people. I don't know. Maybe it was offensive, maybe not. Anyways, John, what is your favorite poetic device, bro? Like, so, you know, we've got assonance and alliteration. Last time we did metaphors and similes.
Concrete.
Concrete.
Straight up concrete. It doesn't have to rhyme, it doesn't have to do anything. I just want to regurgitate what's in my brain onto paper. And from there, maybe over years, I might shape it up with alliteration and rhyme and schemes and stuff.
So
like
it's more prose, just straight prose.
That's right.
Can we have an example?
Like example.
Mm-hmm.
Let me think here. You're gonna put me on the spot?
Yeah.
You do this professionally.
Yeah, I'm glad we can edit this.
Oh, we probably won't edit that
Yeah,
section.
not that part. No.
But the whole entire the
All right.
practice that you're using is kind of write it and then rewrite it till you write it right.
That's right.
Gotcha.
All right,
So what is this? What do you got here first?
This is a collection of poems called Analyzing the Absurd, Volume 1. And it's the first 4 years of writing
And
poetry.
Who wrote this book?
I did.
You wrote this book. All right.
Right. No selling stuff on my show.
Right.
So this might be a good example.
$15, Amazon.
This might be a good example. I just wrote something right here. Just scribbled it down one time. And it just says, a poet once complained that they wanted to get paid for their words. Let me be the first to say, you are paid. You're not being compensated with monetary means. Rather, the worth comes from sharing your humanity. No rhyming, no nothing. Just concrete.
Prose.
Just this.
That was beautiful. It's really deep. You might be my new Buddha. So from what I hear, Buddha.
So I'm poor.
Who inspires you? Like, what makes you go to poetry?
The first time I went to poetry was I used to perform up on stage in a place called Little Joe's in Rochester, New York.
Gotcha.
I came down to Kansas about 14 years ago, and I decided not to do it anymore because I could only find like libraries to perform at, old ladies and stuff.
Right.
So 10 years later, I really wanted to prove to the woman I'm with that I'm more than just, a bartender. I'm more than just this person that provides or takes care. I'm actually a person that can get up on stage and perform something and do something great and change people. And that's really the whole idea of it, is to change people.
The way that you looked into my eyes that entire time, I'm convinced.
Spiral
There's nothing
eyes.
wrong with you being a bartender, but that was pretty poetic.
So is that the line of work you're in as a bartender?
That's correct.
Okay.
That pays for the means that do my art.
Do you ever speak poetry while you're bartending?
Every once in a while someone notices me, which is a great feeling. Having someone notice you and be like, hey, you're Johnny Epic, right? I'm like, yeah. And then they ask me to perform something for free.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. But I'm more happy to perform for them.
Have you ever seen the people, like, if you go to Kansas City or Denver, that are sitting down there and you pay them like $3 and they type you up a little poem? Have you seen that?
Yes, I have.
That's my dream. Like, I think I'm gonna be a vagrant at typing poetry at some point in my life, if not for just a weekend.
I was strolling through New York City once, and this guy was getting paid $2 for people to holler at him.
Right.
That's my dream.
Right.
He had a sign.
Did he have a sign?
$2.
Yeah, yeah.
And people were going up and screaming at him and handing them $2.
He just took
Really?
it.
Yeah.
Good job.
That's great.
That is pretty good. You really got to look yourself in the mirror and be like, you could take it today. They don't know you. Put that mask on, that placid mask of shame and just not caring.
And I'm also here for my modeling.
Oh, all right.
That's an excellent model. Do you ever do them inside bottles?
No, I never did a model in my life.
That's intricate work. It's
I believe it.
time consuming.
Now, do they cut the bottle in that?
No.
See? They don't.
No.
How do they do this?
No, with pliers.
Those tiny-
Long pliers.
Yeah, right. And then they just fit it in there. It's like very pedantic and time-consuming work. Kind of like poetry.
Mm.
Right. I'd rather just write something.
I'm the sucking the poet like some of those.
Right, fair enough. Right, what about the getting yelled at career? I will practice right now. Here, it's $2. Okay, so anyway, no, I'm just playing. That was a free.
Pro bono work.
Right. So like your favorite poet? Who's your favorite poet?
Oh, I wouldn't call him a poet at all, but William S. Burroughs, who wrote Naked Lunch.
Yes.
Junkie.
Oh, okay.
Right. He wrote novels and stuff, but that was straight up poetry to me. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah. What do you identify with Burroughs? I know he was a heroin addict, struggling quite a bit throughout his career, and he was. I think there was some point in time where he went to some country in Asia and spent a few years there.
That's right. He went to Tangiers and all
Yeah.
sorts of stuff like that. Yep. How I identify with him is, like I said, his art through his writing, just to be just completely poetic, not scared to be abstract in any
Right.
kind of way, not scared to be talking about what he's talking about.
Which in that time period was kind of
Like,
taboo.
whoa,
Right.
You know, like it was. He had some subject matters. He had a lot of courage to write the truth about what he felt about.
That Naked Lunch is over homosexuality, correct?
That's correct.
Right.
That's great. And back then, I couldn't imagine.
I mean, in Kansas today, it's still racing.
Yeah. And he lived in Lawrence too.
Really?
Like your claws.
Right.
Imagine being an openly gay person in Kansas in the 50s.
Oh, that's crazy. I mean, even worse, he went through the 80s. Yeah.
Like,
Wow. All right.
well, I wouldn't want to be a gay person in Kansas now. But
That point in time is pushing it. Gotcha. So as far as poetic device, we've got your just straightforward approach. Is there anything that you would tell people about poetry?
poetry.
Yeah, like if they were looking to get out, like some people are just uncomfortable about sharing. Harvey Elliott is one of my favorite slam poets, and he told me that up on the stage, even if I peed myself, they'd only remember it until 2016. So go there and get it done. I went pee first, of course.
Wow.
Right. But
First off, I would say to the audience, don't judge poets for getting up the stage, whether they're bad or good. That takes a lot of bravery to get up there and bear your humanity. A lot. I mean, if you think it's so easy to judge, you should get up on the stage and try telling your deepest flaws up there first off. Right?
What was your first time? Do you remember your first experience?
Yeah, it was like I said, Rochester, New York.
Right.
Right. I was a bar, sort of suburbs, way out of my league. I mean, just like way out of my league. Going in there, that's how I felt. And I never performed. Really nervous. Still get nervous every time I go up there. Actually, I just haven't got a way of hiding it. I just went up there and just blinked it all out and just said how I felt.
Right.
And I got a big applause, and that was very addictive.
Do you space out the performance and just remember going up and coming down?
I space out going up and coming down. I don't space out the performance.
Right.
I'm actually very critical of myself.
Right.
And when I headlined at one mic the other week,
Right. He was the feature last week,
Yeah,
by the way.
I gave myself a D plus in theatrics, right? But I gave myself an A in content, and that's the most important.
So you grade
what I
yourself.
have to say.
Do you ever put it on a bell curve or a sliding scale? Comparatively.
Well, that's why I gave myself a D.
Right.
We are
Everybody else is so much
critic.
better.
Right.
It's hard to be the feature when everybody else is better than you going up there. But
I don't know about that. You're pretty good.
It's great, man. It's
thank you.
good to have
Thank
you.
It was a lot of fun.
I mean, it's just a whole family group we got here.
It is.
That Matt kid, he was
Yeah, it was a little special.
just so
huh?
many. And then we actually interviewed Wes Robertson last week,
Oh,
and
yeah.
Alex, you're it.
Mhm.
Alex is just so much an emotion, and you just got these faces, and you know, he's just like, you're just like, I feel well for whoever that lady was that he was, having trouble with.
Great diversity here in Slack.
Good.
Can't
Good
believe it.
diversity.
I mean, I would have never guessed that there was one good poet in this town, let alone as many as we're getting, and then we're getting
Right.
in the same building
Right.
at the same time.
Because we're kind of recluses. We're like,
Mhm.
shut-ins. We're
That's
here,
right.
and we want to go home.
I have to have some friends drag me out of the house.
Right.
Right? Just keep calling me and harassing me. I'm like, okay, I'm going to answer the freaking phone. You know what I'm saying?
That's good, man.
Because I'd rather just not be. I got enough projects to keep me busy for a lifetime.
So what are you doing? Do you have any other books coming out? Are you working on anything else?
Yeah, I got a book called Ill Digestions.
No soliciting.
Ill Digestions.
Who did the artwork?
Denise Arnold actually did the cover photo, and she's a local artist here in town.
Soliciting.
And it's very awesome, and it's actually about my job at the restaurant industry.
Oh, that's right.
It's a 90-day journal,
All right.
and that's a great book.
Full of weight and cynicism, I hope. A little bit.
Getting a lot of sales, little by little.
All right.
You know, this I think I've gotten about 200 sold here in town.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Nice. That's pretty cool, bro. Why
It's
don't?
just a straight up journal of. It's a 90-day journal of the holiday season during the restaurant.
Can you just flip to a page and give us a look?
No, let me flip.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta let me read.
All right.
Okay, I'll read
all right.
Christmas.
All right.
So this is getting near the end of the holiday season. December 25th, Christmas. Happy birthday, Jesus. But I forget that day isn't actually the day he was born. I wonder what would happen if we researched the holidays they so ignorantly celebrate. Would they realize the correlation between the placement of particular holidays to the exact times of year when the economy needs a boost? Such as during a long winter where people need a damn good reason to go outside and or be jolly? Are we fed fables and wonderfully miraculous fictitious characters in order for us to be more readily available to give our money to churches, governments, and merchants? And don't judge me for my skepticism. I'm no atheist. I'm merely a fence sitter trying to decipher a golden medium between two extremes.
So, what are your views on Christmas?
What are my views on
You know that Saint Nick, also known as Santa Claus, is an outlaw?
What?
Yeah, his name used to be Chris Kringle, and then he became wanted, and so he changed his name to Santa Claus. Right.
I heard he was outlaw for his good looks.
Yeah.
And red hair, they really like ginger.
And great beard.
That's a coat beard. Coat beard. Right.
A good beard goes a long way.
I love your internal rhymes within your prose.
Thank you.
Right, I caught those, and the slant rhymes are immaculate. They're not forced, which is a great thing. Because I was just talking with a writer the other day, and she's, because English language is riddled with slant rhymes. I don't know if you people know it, but it's not a rhyming language at all. It's so much harder to rhyme things in English. And if I spoke any other languages, I would give you an example. But I
you
don't.
speak other languages?
Un poco.
Okay.
Right. Too prominently, English and bad English. Right. A little bit of Spanish. But I can't just pull out rhymes in Spanish. But so you're used.
It is easier to rhyme in Spanish.
I know.
Italian.
It even rhymes with the French and like all the rest of them, just not in English.
It is very hard, but that makes it so much more. It makes it more pleasant to the ear, I think, having that diversity in sounds.
Right.
Because think about it, it's really a mixture of a lot of different
Languages.
things through history. Yeah,
Right.
and I think that makes it richer.
Truth.
Doesn't make it prettier sound, it makes it richer than what we're hearing.
Right.
What's the difference there? How do you separate that?
How do we separate?
Richness
Rich from pretty.
From pretty.
Donald Trump
Well, okay.
from Girl Next Door.
Girl next door.
Right.
That's right.
Right.
Well, it's natural for me. And I think a lot of like the poets, they're not actually thinking about the way they're writing. It's just
Right.
naturally put down the rest of
So,
their
so
life.
it's the
Just like a speaker, you know, you might read someone's poem,
Right.
and you're like, God, that is absolute garbage. And then they perform it because they're a natural performer. You're like, God, that's genius.
right,
Right.
right, absolutely.
Right. So I mean, there's a very, very well. There's not. It's not a thin line. There's a large line between spoken word and written word,
Mhm.
and like so you know it's a performance piece. But I see a lot of times when you perform, you have your work there with you. Does it help induce confidence? What is the whole practice with having your work there? Does it because of the you're less limited with your options of what to read, so you feel out the crowd? Basically, I'm speaking for you now.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
gotcha.
Well,
Sorry.
it's like I've seen a lot of seasoned poets who are capable of memorizing a poem, and it's not that they still choose to read from a book or use a phone. And I understand the book; you're promoting your book as well, but why choose to read from something when you are capable of doing that?
Okay, my bullshit answer is that I'm going to say,
We can't. I don't know.
oh, okay.
Just kidding.
You might have to play
Is
this
that
at the tip.
I have written thousands of poems.
Got way too.
And I've written way more than I've written, I've actually kept. And I can perform something new every time I go up there
Right.
for thousands of shows. But the truth is, I get caught staring people in the eyes. I look people in the eyes when I talk to them.
Right.
Because that's how you read and recognize
Right,
what they want, what they're thinking, and all that. And then if I start doing that to audience, I lose track of where I'm at.
Right.
Right. So,
Especially with
so
that
the way to
first
cover
crowd.
my nervousness,
Right.
so I just hide my face like this, and I read straight, and I'm not looking. And luckily, I have a very good oration
Right.
to my voice. Listening to Ginsberg a lot when I was young and stuff like that.
Now.
Allen Ginsberg, exactly. With projecting,
Yes.
all that stuff, and luckily I have a good oration with that hides the fact that I'm actually homophobic.
Yeah.
I could put people into a different world, which we want to do as poets, right?
Right.
We could bring them into our world, but I could do that without a lot of theatrics.
Or placing yourself in it.
That's right.
Right.
I just do it with the way my voice is.
I can see that because it kind of dampens.
Because I don't even
it's a
put that
buffer.
much emotions, but when you see me up there, I'm not putting that much emotion.
You know Alex Sherritt. I'm gonna
That's
tell you
right.
that. Right.
All emotion.
Yeah, I'm a Padawan.
Right. Man, I want to be a Padawan.
So what's you guys would know what the Padawan thing is had you attended one mic.
Yeah.
Which is great. Suggest you come out and check it out. Also, what is your definition of poetry?
Ooh.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
A definition of poetry? Let's say, I've never even thought about that. My definition of poetry, to me, is just something that should be read out loud. For sure. When I put it on paper, that's something, and when I write poetry, a lot, especially in my first 12 years, that was a lot just to remind myself of things I wanted to say in novels later on, which I might or might not want to write, because it takes a big commitment for the novels. That was an easy way for me to get it now.
Right.
Right. So
Poetry is almost like notes.
yeah, so I almost never read anything from the first 4 or 5 years I've written poetry, because that's for some other reason.
Right.
Now, the last 5 or 6 years, I've really thought about speaking that, because it should be spoken. And so my English teacher in 10th grade said, always read poetry out loud. That's how you know it's good.
So
Best poetry really is something, it's a mixture between the mind and heart, and articulating that to the masses.
I'm gonna write that down. It's a mixture between the mind and heart. How to articulate that to the masses. Right. So it meets like right about here.
Song without music, right?
Right.
So I guess what's your goal? What's your ultimate goal with this?
My ultimate goal is to be somewhat happy.
What does that
Right.
mean? What is happy? It's such a vague concept. But I guess it's one of those things you know when you have it.
Well, I wanted to be a teacher, which is going to help. Well, first off, I wanted to be a cop. I know that's hard to believe. Then I found out the academy I was going to, 96% of the placement was going to patrol the border down in Texas. And I was in New York. I didn't want to go to Texas.
Right.
I didn't want to patrol brown people, because America was founded
On brown people.
On brown people, you know. Well, Los Angeles was built by brown people, and I got kicked out, so they built it.
Right.
Right? So I didn't want to do that, but I wanted to help people. So I wanted to be a teacher. So I came down here to be an elementary school teacher, got a misdemeanor possession marijuana charge. Can't be a teacher.
Right. You don't want to be a teacher anymore anyway. They're taking everything away from them. All of it.
Then I wanted to, so you see the motif here, I wanted to help people. But sometimes people don't let you help people.
Right.
Right? It's something you actually have to fight for.
So you're kind of like a vigilante poet. You're like, you're gonna fucking listen.
No, because vigilantes work for their own cause.
Well, I mean,
Right.
ultimately,
I guess it is your cause for happiness.
right?
Right.
That's your reward.
Right. But teaching people seems like giving more, you know, unsung heroes. Right. Teachers are really just kind of like that.
I am teaching.
I feel it every time. I mean, you're teaching me right now.
I'm teaching.
Right.
That's what I do when I'm up there. I want to teach.
Articulating the mind and the heart right here.
That's right.
Right. Poetry. I learned something. Right. So do you have any work that you're going to perform for us today?
Yeah, I think I'm going to do one from when I was really young.
Right.
And it's called, I forget what it's called, but it's about chasing your tail. When you're young, you got so much stuff going around, you have all this energy, and you just keep chasing your tail. Run around in circles.
It's not her tail, but your tail.
But yeah,
Right.
our tail.
Okay, right.
Right. Parental supervision. A friend sits and cries, wonders why the world is against him, and sighs, for his decisions are not his own. It's a misunderstanding between mother and son. The mother, though tiny and sweet, a disciplinary, orderly and neat, can't help but feel her mistakes have now become her sons. That the way she was raised, to life in disarray, and a single mother abandoned, has consequences on her children, knowing that is why they are so afraid. My friend, the son, sits and cries, for his mom is in anguish, can't bear to see her disappointment. And he doesn't feel the same, because this is not her fault, for his mistakes are all his own and had nothing to do with the lessons at home. After the quarrel, the misunderstanding, her saying, "It's for your own good," him replying, "You don't know me." They squeeze each other tightly because they need each other. It's a bond between son and mother. The mom is fearful that he is lost. The son is trying to find his place, for the world is vast and demanding. Too fast for her, too overwhelming, makes her overbearing. Yet her son is never fearing, because his mom has given him the tools, the confidence, the know-how, morality, and genetic Irish strength to use, the heredity of a short fuse, someone that is excited by challenge, smiles at danger, and it is for his mother where all his concerns are. When we shut the house door in the car, we'll travel far from the worries of an isolated woman that knows her son is now a man, and she can't stand that he is like the father, too afraid of constriction, too free to let things be, and must stick his nose into the world to grow further to see who he can be.